Interactivity and Opportunism in Agreement Operations, an experimental study on the production of subject-verb agreement in English and Spanish. Rationale: provide further experimental data in order to examine the interactivity and opportunism of the agreement system by testing the potential influence on subject-verb agreement operations of two semantic variables.
First, the distributivity. The semantic variable whose impact on subject-verb agreement has been widely attested. Second, the variable of concreteness, which is not largely supported by the experimental data.
Objectives. This study underscores the importance of experimental data to draw theoretical implication about mechanism and constraints underlying the agreement process. The result emphasizes the complexity of the agreement computation along with the manner in which various constraints interact with one another opportunistically during agreement resolution.
Participants were composed of 20 Spanish-speaking participants and 20 English-speaking participants aging 20 to 30.
A set of 4 sentence completion tasks organized in the following way. 2 are used to test the influence of one semantic variable, namely distributivity, and the other 2 are used to test another semantic variable, namely concreteness.
Findings: errors English tests on distributivity. These incorrect subject-verb agreement relations mean that the speaker provides a plural verb from agreeing with a subject complex NP headed by a singular noun. It reveals that the distributivity variable plays a role in the computation of subject-verb agreement. Semantics plays an influence on the agreement process, and in these cases, the nature of the errors are rather conceptually, grammatically, or syntactically grounded. Second, there exists a tendency in Spanish distributive preambles to also elicit plural verb agreement. Errors in preambles tend to promote plural verb agreement on account of its inherent multiplicity. Overall distributive effects are found in Spanish, which may indicate that Spanish speakers are also sensitive to conceptual interference of the semantic variable. It shows that the straightforward conceptualization of concrete nouns makes the processor aware of its singular feature, provoking a small number of errors. The difficulty of conceptualizing an abstract noun makes the processor less aware of its number feature, thus provoking a higher number of agreement errors. These results emphasizes that semantic variable of concreteness actually plays a role in the processing of agreement, at least in English. In Spanish, the difficulty in conceptualizing the sentence preambles headed by an abstract noun makes the processor produce more errors, whereas the ease in conceptualizing a sentence preamble headed by a concrete noun makes the processor produce almost none. This means that the degree of imaginability of a given noun affects subject-verb agreement resolution. Lastly, the percentage of errors in both experimental conditions is considerably higher in English than in Spanish. This difference is again more accentuated in the experimental condition that would reveal the potential influence of the semantic variable. Conclusions:
This experimental study concludes that constraint satisfaction approach is the most appropriate model to explain workings of the agreement system on account of the efficacy and psychological adequacy. Besides, it is highlight the inappropriateness of other theoretical approaches.
The results prove that agreement is an interactive continuum that allows the penetration of different constraints when opportune. Furthermore, the constraint satisfaction model is the only one that acknowledges the great complexity of the agreement system in terms of interactivity and opportunism.
To conclude, this study shows how experimental data can serve to draw theoretical conclusions and prove the appropriateness of a given theoretical model, the constraint satisfaction framework in this case, as well as to uncover the mechanisms and constraints underlying the agreement process, which proves to be interactive and opportunistic.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. I've been looking under rocks and breaking.